Hello, this is Cage or Nilius, however you may know me, and I'm going to be doing a simple tutorial on how to kit bash pretty much. So step one, your blender is going to look like this. You just obviously delete those. A few things I will recommend having before you set up everything. Make sure you have the Cat's Blender plugin. If you don't know where that is, Google is a free resource, and I'll also link it in the description. Make sure you also have the latest version of Blender. That is the one I'm using, so certain tools will be different. Um, Another thing is make sure you have a good resource of models. Specifically, today we're going to be dealing with Dragon Ball Fighters models. I have a direct rip of all the models given to me by a good old friend, Creeps, um, and I recommend trying to find your own. However, I can show you in a different tutorial on how to rip models from fighters, which is insanely easy, but that is going to be another video. However, today we are going to do a simple head swap. You would basically do this for anything else, like you would just translate it that way. But today we're just gonna put like a head on a different body. So first off, we're gonna go here and we're gonna find here. Now I have all these files, right? So today we're going to take, let's say, let's do this. We're gonna do this character. This is Kefla, right? We're gonna take their head and put it on a different body. So we're bringing the Kefla in, and I'm going to press H here to hide the bones, and I'm going to go in and find another model to put their head on. So let's do TKN. This is no, this is Kid Trunks. So then we got Kid Trunks here. We're going to take Kefla's head and put it on Kid Trunks' body. They're completely two separate body types, but it's very easy how you can do this. So step one, we're going to hide this by pressing H. We're going to hide Trunks as well by pressing H. We're going to click here, and we're gonna work on this, make this cleaned up. Depending on what models you use or what outputs you have or what rips you have, your model will not look like this, but this is a direct rip from Dragon Ball Fighters itself. So first off, I'm gonna go up here. This is personal preference. It's easier for me to distinguish what is what with this, but if you go up here, there are four settings. The first one is wireframe. Shows you the wireframe of the model. Second one is just like default shaded, no textures or anything. It's just, a blob. Third one is shaded. And now each one has colors and you can see the vertex paint itself. So what we're going to do is we're going to hit tab while selecting onto the mesh, and it's going to look like this. We're going to go down to this menu over here and go down to here, the material properties. Now there's going to be a lot here depending on what model you use. For example, this is only used in a intro, so it doesn't have that much. Normally your base texture is going to be on dummy material 0, and that should select everything. But certain models have certain parts of the model separated into another one, so you would look and be like, huh, the legs aren't selecting. Let me go one more down and select that. But on this one, if I go one more down to dummy material 1, it's going to select this down here. We don't need that. So what we're going to do is we're going to select material 0. We're going to press P and separate by selection. And then we're going to go down to here. Number 3 is normally going to be your decal. Again, it depends on which model you're going to be working on. For example, it's 3 because she has nothing else. So we're going to hit P while we select, dummy material 3. We're going to hit P to separate the selection, and boom, all this excess junk we do not need for the time being. So now we have the decal material and this material. And to save up on material slots down here, it won't convey into Unity, but this is just to make things cleaner and easier in Blender. We're going to click the base mesh and we're going to go over here to the materials and go to material specials, click to drop down, and we're going to click remove unused slots. And it's gonna remove whatever's not used. So for example, if like let's say this has two materials on it and both are being used but has five over here, you can click this and it will remove all the other materials so that only the ones that are being used are shown. So we're going to do the same thing for the decal here. This one's set up now. We are going to now hide these. We're going to go over here to kid trunks and we're going to do the same thing to him. So, but for example, we are only going to need to use his body, so we would only select material 0. We don't need the decal or anything. Um, Another way you could do this, instead of separating it, if you only need one material, you can select that material and hit Control I while hovering over the model, and it will invert the selection to whatever else is there. And then you can hit Delete, delete vertices, and boom. Now you have that, and again, we're going to go over here, remove unnecessary slots. Now, we're going to go back to Kefla real quick. We're going to select the model, and now we need to remove the head only. There are multiple different ways you could do this today. I'm going to show you the way I tend to do things. Um, it's very simple, very easy. It's quicker than the other way because the main way I used to do it is, I hit tab and I go into here, and then there's these three slots here, right? There is line select, vertices select, and face select. What I used to do is go into face select, select all of the face I can, and hit Control L. However, this takes way longer than it needs to, and there is a way faster and easier version, or easier way to do this. So what we're going to do is with this model selected, we're going to go to UV editing up here. If you don't have it, you can press the plus over here, go to general and UV editing. Now, there's going to be nothing over here, but right now we're going to zoom in to this model. And what we're going to do is we're going to make it so that all the vertices over here, because if we select them, they appear. But we want them to appear here no matter what. So what we're going to do is over here in the UV menu, or UV window, or wherever you want to call it, in the top left, right here is UV sync selection. What this does, it pretty much just selects all of them over here and just has them here. So you can select them from here. So again, it varies between models how this is set up, but normally the head is set up over here, the body is set up over here, and the clothes are set up here, and the hair is set up here, right? I'm going to say this again. It varies between model, and it really depends on what model you're working on. I would recommend looking at the base texture and putting it in here and being like, okay, that's what that does. Okay, that's where that goes. Um, Most fighters' hair normally have only a little bit shown here, but if you zoom out, you can see the rest is all throughout here because it's overlaying. So all you would do to select all of the hair is zoom out, come over here, hold shift, and select all of this that's on the outside. Make sure you don't select anything on the inside. Like there, I might have, no, I'm good. I might have accidentally selected there, but I'm good. Make sure you get all of it, because if you don't, it's going to be a pain. Come back over here. And just to make sure, you can hit Control L and select anything that's linked, and that is all the hair. So now, don't click anywhere else, just to be safe. We're going to get the head. So for Kefla, we're going to grab all this. Down here's the teeth and the tongue. Then up here is the face. And that should be the entire face. So now, with this selected, we're going to go over to back to layout, and we're going to go back to edit by hitting tab, and here it is. So now we only need the head, so we're going to do Control I to invert the selection, and we're going to hit delete and delete vertices. Now all that is left is the head itself. and we don't have to do anything to the decal because it's all there. Now we're going to hide these by clicking the eyes over here. We're going to go to trunks, and we're going to do the same thing but the opposite. So we're going to select all of the head in the UV menu. Again, trunks has that thing where the um, vertices are outside of the UV menu to overlap easier. Um, we're going to do the same thing. Obviously, we're going to select the head. We're going to select the hair, all this stuff, all this junk. And instead, when we get this all selected, instead of inverting the selection and then deleting, we're just going to delete the head. So once that's all selected and we made sure, okay, yep, that's all of that, we're going to hit delete over here, delete vertices, and boom. If you want it to be more exact, like you're selecting like parts down here too, instead of hitting vertices, you would do faces, and that's a little more exact with what you're selecting. So now the head's down here, or the body's down here, and now what we're going to do is we're going to take Kefla's head and put their head on this body. However, we're going to do a bit of cleanup work to make the model just look a tad bit better. Um, all we're going to do is we're going to select this, right? We're going to select the mesh. We're going to hit, well, we're going to select all of the meshes. So shift, click and drag everything, every single mesh. We're going to hit tab. We're going to go to mesh, cleanup, merge by distance. Don't touch anything. Then you're going to come down here and then you're going to click sharp edges. Now it might not look, oh wait, I'm dumb. Okay, when you're in edit mode, you have to hit Control A to select everything. And then you're going to go to mesh, and then you're going to go to cleanup, and then merge by distance. Make sure sharp edges is selected, and now it's going to look like this, right? In edit mode, it's going to look like that. That just makes it look a lot smoother with the shading. I've noticed specifically with Unity, there are different reasons to do it in Blender, like to make things like the outline look a lot better. But right now we're just gonna be porting this to Unity. This is only the Blender part. Um, I may do a Unity tutorial later, but really that's just basic avatar setup after this. Um, Now we're gonna separate, or we're gonna move Kefla's head down to here. So this is where the cat's Blender plugin comes in. So we're gonna click this up here, go down to cats, and you're gonna make sure you're selecting the right armature. So for example, we're gonna be moving Kefla's head, so we're gonna make sure it's armature, and you would just see what this is called to find out which one it is. So now we're gonna hit start pose mode. Now, this is merely a cosmetic thing, like this is just for personal preference, but for me personally, I like to change how the bones look so it's easier to see the model itself. So I go down here to this little green guy down here. It's the object data properties. We're going to go over here to viewport display and then change it from this to wire. You can change it to whatever you want, like you can do B-bone if you're schizophrenic, or stick if it's a lot easier for you to see that, but I personally like wire. It lets me see the model and everything. So now I'm gonna move this head down onto this neck. So I'm gonna go down into this hierarchy of the bones. I'm gonna find the neck bone right here, not the head bone, because if you move the head bone on certain models, part of it is linked to the neck and it will just look bad. So I'm going to take the neck bone, going to go into this view, which you can click the Z, Y, and X to change that. I'm just going to move it down, move it over, probably scale it up, make it just look good on the model itself. So now there we go. Obviously that doesn't look good, but this is just for tutorial sake. I'm not actually going to make this a model. Once you have it in a spot that you like it, you're going to go over here and apply as rest pose, right? Then once that's done, depending on how long it takes, you'll be here. Now it'll be stuck there, and all you'll have to do now is we're going to go back to the Kefla body in the same way that you're able to go into edit mode on here by hitting tab. you're going to do that on the bones here, and now it's going to look like this. So same way we did the pose mode, we're going to go down the armature and find the head bone, because that is all we need, the head bone. Not the neck, not anything, because only the head is left. We only need the head bone to be selected. So right here, there's head, and what we're going to do is we're going to come over here, we're going to hold shift and press G, and we're going to select similar, and we're going to select the children of that bone. Now all of that face is selected. Now we're going to hit Control I to invert the selection. Oh, I actually hit Control U. Um, and everything else is going to be selected, and all we're going to do is hit delete. We're going to delete those bones because we don't need them. Now we're going to do the same thing with the trunks, but the opposite. So let me change it back to wire over here. We're going to go down the list, go to waist, stomach, chest, neck, and then we're going to go to head. We're going to do Shift G again, select children, but instead of doing Control I, we're just going to hit delete because we don't have Trunks' face. And now when that's done, you have both of these set up. Now they can merge together. So what we're going to do is we're going to select Trunks' body and Kefla's body, like the bones, and we're going to do Control J to join them together. And now they're on the same armature, but now if everything is set up right, you can look over here and see the bones that you've merged, and you won't see the numbers. But if it's not set up right, it'll be something like G100001, right? That means there's a bone of that already on the model. But since we have it set up right, it's not going to do that. So now we're going to select the head bone. We're going to go down here to the big green bone down here, go to relations, and it has no parent bone. Since it is the head, we're going to go down here and set it to the neck bone, which is G neck, and boom, now it's on the neck. For example, if you're changing out the arms for something else, you would go in and delete everything but the clavicles and everything that's parented to that. And then you would just, move the clavicles to the chest, right? Now that that's on there, we're going to go back to object mode, and everything is good except this. So for example, this was from the trunks rig, but now it is on the Kefla rig. So we're going to go down here. You would do this to anything just to make sure. So you would click this wrench here, and there should be an armature modifier, and you got to make sure it's all set to this. So this one is set to that, that's fine. This one is set to that, that's fine. This one isn't. So you would either just click this and click the armature, or you can click this and click the armature. Doesn't matter, whatever you do. But this is what you would do. And now, in all technicalities, it is done. But there are some things that you can do to make the model look a little bit better. So for example, uh, you can, I'm going to hide this right now. I'm going to select all of these. I'm going to merge them together by hitting Control J to join them. And boom, it's all under one body, one mesh. And there you go. From there on, you would do basic stuff like making via seams with cats, which is something else entirely, or you would like do whatever you need. Um, and that's it. That's pretty much how you do kit bashing. That's all I have for you. Take care and have fun.